as an advocate of South Florida music, I struggled with, and the band struggled with a lot more. You know, Florida's like a certain body part, and it extends down, and back then especially, this is not quite as true now, it mattered now, but back then it mattered. That's a 600-mile road trip to play Miami.
Yeah.
You might play Atlanta, and you might play, I don't know, Mobile or Hattiesburg or somewhere, maybe Tallahassee or something. But then you got a 600-mile drive through Florida. Not the greatest, nicest drive, you know, the leaves aren't changing color.
They do a gig and then drive 600 miles.
Yeah, there's gunfire here, brother. Yeah.
My point is, what happened? Nothing happened. Nothing happened then. I lived down here. I was here in the 90s. More happened in the 90s era because actually a lot of bands actually did make it. Like Newfound Glory, Marilyn Manson, A Dashboard Confessional, Maverick.
And actually, if you're looking at the beginning of the punk scene, you could look to a band called Tinsel Swain in 1977.
Okay.
Tinsel Swain with Craig Cherry. Craig goes back to 60s bands, so it's another link back to them. But to me, they were a little more glam than punk. But you can actually say that they were there, even to me in my mind, because I was a Rollos guy and I saw ZCars so many times, and because the Cichlids were kind of an outgrowth of ZCars. Not, I don't know if it's 100% accurate to say that, but if you look at Robert Mascaro and probably his line of thinking with the Cichlids, that really, I started with ZCars, you know. But Tinsel Swain, it could be argued from the glam scene, also might have been the first band, the first punk band down.
She winds me up, I go for you. Everybody's stoned, baby. She won't leave me alone. It's another cherry soul. Torpedo woman, or featherweight. She knows how to shake. Alien queen, you are what you dream. We were rocking and rolling all night to the band in the club, and since you sunk me, baby, well I feel like I'm in love. I'm a toy man for a playgirl. She winds me up, I go.
Oh, just shut the fuck up. Go inside. Go inside.
She didn't want to check.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'd like to back up on Critical Mass. The way I got to meet these, the way I got to know them, in 1979, just the job I had just before being hired as She, I was running the station WDIZ, Rock 100 in Orlando. And a very dear friend of mine, a guy who had been a program director of mine early in my career and now was working for RCA Records doing promotion, he flew to town to take me to lunch and play me the latest RCA releases for the month, promoting the records. He plays me some stuff, we went out to lunch, and then in the car driving back to the radio station, because I got to go on the air, he says, Neal, I want to play you this cassette. It's a band that I found in Miami that I just think is really great, and I want your opinion. And he sticks this this cassette in my car, this really terrible, real crappy quality garage cassette of this band Critical Mass. The song was 1964, and that song is all about the night the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show, a night that changed a lot of our lives. And I loved it. I said, Lee, when we get back to the station, let me play it on the air, just to see if we get a reaction. And he said, sure. And this scratchy cassette, I played the thing on the air, and I think I segued right into I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles from it. It was a perfect segue, and got a ton of phone calls. And Lee used that information, that experiment, that spontaneous experiment, to get the band signed to MCA. Then I get the job at She in Miami. I moved down here like weeks before Critical Mass's album is to come out. So I was at the right place at the right time.
The entire album, Critical Mass, it's what's inside that counts. The rest of the world is about to discover a hot rock and roll band that we've been enjoying down here in South Florida for a while. We'll give you a taste of that album right now. I'm going to dedicate this song to the memory of Ed Sullivan. Critical Mass, 1964 at 103 She.
I don't know who makes the rules for writing songs. It seems they only know the dancing.
What are some of the bands back then that you liked? Local bands that were, that you were playing along with?
None.
None?
None.
That's great. All right. Well said.
None.
None. Okay.
That and 99 cents gets me a donut at 7-Eleven now,
I think our motivation was we wanted to get laid.
Said you loved to me forever. Said we'd always be together. Hand in hand we'd walk side by side. As time went by, your love just faded. You said goodbye, but I still waited. You promised the whole world to me, but you lied.
We went to Vibrations, and I was like, oh, I heard of the Clash, I heard of the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, and the Dead Boys.
Okay.
So he took 2 home,
Yeah.
and I took 2 home to listen to. He said, you take 2, I'll take 2.
Right.
Let's see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I listened to the Clash. The Clash is now, my gods.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't get this. I don't understand it. What is this?
Good tonight and she knows it. She's gonna treat me right and she shows it. We've been waiting for so long, and now our time is near. Tonight we can do no wrong, so I whisper in her.
Part of that whole crew,
Right.
Robert Mascara crew and stuff.
Right.
So I think it was great. I mean, first of all, no one was doing. There was another one. No one was doing. He was part of the scene.
Yeah, he wasn't a punk rocker, but he was original as hell.
Yeah, and no one was doing anything like he was doing.
Like roots music.
Yeah, it was roots with that.
He stuck to his guns.
But with Sultan and Strohschneider side by side, and
But that came afterwards.
Yeah.
The eggs were very straightforward.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they, and the thing, of course, that we all remember the most is that the guitars were always a little bit out of tune. That was the trademark.
Yeah.
And,
But he had the
phenomenal.
courage to get up on stage with these punk rock bands, and even though he was friends with us and all that, his music wasn't punk rock. I mean,
Right,
It was roots music, but
He's still doing the same thing. In a way, it's like cowpunk.
This band comes out, this guy in this red and white checked flannel shirt, and his, shiny jeans and boots, and just got off the backhoe there down on the North 40.
Yeah.
he's got this drummer with this blonde hair and the leather, and he's like, you know, maybe he's a movie star, or maybe he works on the farm with the other guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really hard guy to kind of, you know, stereotype right off the bat. And then he's got these two junkies. I mean, hardcore, the Rolling Stones, forget the Rolling Stones, the, what was Johnny Thunder's band, you know?
The New York Dolls.
New York Dolls made, these two guys made New York Dolls look like, you know, Lawrence Welk or Liberace or something. I mean, they were just pre-grunge, grunge, you know, 15 years before grunge, just falling apart. And I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Mark Markham is the brother of the late property assessor from Broward County. And Bill Markham. Bill or William Markham. He was in politics for a long, long time. They started in music in the 50s, going all the way back to those rockabilly days. And later on, Mark became the leader of the band, the Jesters. And it was Mark Markham and the Jesters. In 1966, they cut a single called Going Back to Marlboro Country. And this is Mark Markham and the Jesters on the original first label, Power Records.
Cool.
And this was a local hit on WFUN. It got all the way to number 25 on WFUN survey. Got airplay, lots and lots of airplay down here. WQAM didn't play it because if you were a WFUN band, you couldn't play it on WQAM unless you were on a national label and made that breakthrough, like the Clefs of Lavender Hill, so you were able to play that.
Until then, you were still rivalries going on.
Yeah, exactly. The rivalries were huge. And Steve Palmer, who was with WFUN's Dances, was to get Markham and his Jesters, and this again is Charlie's cousin. Marlboro Country, what was on RCA Victor. Big Bad RCA with Nipper the dog. And you can see what Mark looked like in those days. And there's the promo. I kept the promo because although Marlboro Country was the A-side, RCA thought I Don't Need You should have been the A-side, and we made that the plug side. Now Marlboro Country, a lot of people know by Charlie Pickett because he went and covered it. And I think it was on here, yeah. Marlboro Country was on Cowboy Junkie A Go-Go.
Okay.
I'm going back, yeah, I'm going back to Marlboro Country. I'm going back, yeah, I'm going back to Marlboro Country.
You know, there was a period in '81 when Johnny, you know, I found out Johnny could play that beautiful blues guitar, and we had this thing about we wanted to play blues. Nowadays, it's real easy to say, oh, well, it's punk blues, everybody knows what it is, Gun Club and all that, but at the time it wasn't a defined thing. Cowpunk, they called it later. And we realized that after we'd written a couple of songs that we were starting to slide over into what we called bad white boy blues. And we all know what that is. And we did not want to do that, period. So what we did was, we were at sync, there were no outside windows, we turned the lights off. When you turn the lights off, you have to hear what you're playing. And it helped us. Now, I'm not saying we ever got away from being white boy blues players, but we got less Caucasian.
Charlie.
Great opening act.
He's gonna kick your ass for saying that.
He's big now, you know.
He's the only one that's still around to keeping anything going.
He's gonna stick his cowboy boot up my ass.
I will find a way to get to you someday. In a way I'm so afraid treats me nice.
everybody. Got some advice for all the girls planning to get married. And it's this. You want daddy to treat you nice, be right. You want him to do things you want him to do. You want him to take places and treat you with respect. Introduce you, this is my wife, this is my best friend. Just do one thing, and it's not, has nothing to do with politics, philosophy, or anything else. Just do one thing. Just simply give him advice. When he wants a little, give it to him. And he will treat you very nice. And the same thing for all you guys. When she comes in at 3 o'clock in the morning, she's been out drinking with her girlfriends, it's Wednesday night or night out or something. You're home with your kids. She comes in and she says, ooh, she starts feeling, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, rubbing your back, you know. And you go, oh no, 3 o'clock. Just roll over and give her some. And she will treat you with respect and nice. You know, everything will be fine. So, this goes. See smokestack lightning. See shines in my face tonight.
All the elements came together. You know, you say perfect storm of bands, first and foremost, and music itself. Venues, radio, press, management, promotion, did I say labels? You know, all these elements came together. I don't know a better word for it. It was the scene.
Florida, you know, this is in South Florida. South Florida is freaking, you know, it's hot down here. It's desolate. This is no place for music. But you could, you know, a lot of people don't realize that we're actually attached to the rest of the United States, so you can get in a car and you can drive out of Florida. But a lot of bands down here never really realize that. Oh shit, you can get out, you can leave Florida, and you can. So I think there's a lot of shitty bands down here that are saying, oh man, we should have made it, and I'm thinking, no, it's really good for that you did make it.
Sincerity. We traveled around and saw lots of scenes. You could tell when you're into somebody else's scene how good it was or wasn't. We had the best scene in the country. Only comparable scenes were Minneapolis, Los Angeles, New York, but those Los Angeles and New York scenes were not small. Right. So I don't think they really had a scene. I think there was just a lot of kids. Right. So the only comparable places I know of will be, again, Minneapolis, and I forgot Athens and Atlanta to a lesser degree. Greg, you had to soak it up because you had to go out there and you had to get into it and you had to be into it. You had to. You went out every weekend night, Friday and Saturday both, and it was a great experience. Fantastic girls, fantastic guys, a lot of young person danger, you know, and so-and-so's breaking up with somebody, it's going to be a big old yelling match or something. Yeah. But I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
in that area, Finder's Lounge.
Yes.
Finder's Lounge was in Hallandale.
Right.
Lasted for a long time. Had Black Flag play there.
Right.
It's amazing. We did sound for Black Flag. There was a line down the freaking dance floor where people wanted to get on the stage and dive off.
Yeah.
And everybody, it was like a traffic thing. We were like traffic cops up there.
Yeah.
We just moving people along. Come on, jump off, jump off, jump off.
Yeah.
And the only one that I ever had, I had to physically throw off the stage, was a girl that I brought.
That whole Finders thing. That was the girls. Those guys were the Miami Beach guys. They were musically the most sophisticated as far as let's piss people off. Next to the E.
Beat my sister.
I beat my little sister. How do you remember this shit? Yeah, it was about me beating up my little sister. Because I didn't beat her up by her, but but we used to fight. How siblings are.
Yeah, so it's just about brothers, sister rivalry, and
Woman beat my sister. I threw a dart and missed her. I grabbed her cheese and squeezed.
Song, Dirty Girls. You want to tell me about that song, man?
Dirty Girls. Wear dirty underwear.
Is that about what it sums it up?
I'm working to perfection. Got my own tip connection. So sit down, mama.
And
how did he get the name Ricky Vomit?
He gave it to himself. But there's a reason, because he always got drunk and vomited all over the place.
Yeah.
One day there used to be a place called Fun Fair.
Yeah, I used to work there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my brother.
and we were eating hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Rick just sticks his, Todd Brennan?
Yeah.
He had a classic car. And he just, all of a sudden Rick just stuck his head out the window of the car and just started puking. And the puke was falling because he was facing this way into the wind.
Yeah.
And the thing was like this, so we pulled into the convenience store. Some lady was screaming because it looks like someone shot him in the head because he had ketchup and mustard. And he had little pieces of hot dog in his hair. Like his brain was shot out.
Yeah.
So we come running out, screaming, the guy's dead. I go, no, he's not dead, he's not dead.
He just puked on himself.
He just puked on himself. So that.
Yeah, walking real slow.
Americans and the Cubans were still trying to feel each other out, with only modest success. So there was a bed of confusion. On that bed you throw some race riots, some cocaine cowboys, and the Mariel boat lift. It got pretty crazy.
The boys on the immigration desk, we got our orders and we try to do our best. But when we get our orders, we have trouble understanding. Meanwhile, on Miami Beach, another boat is landing. Yeah. Immigration report. Immigration report. Immigration report. We gotta throw away the questions. All they do is dance.
Randy Prentice and I had an appointment to do something at Sync's studio. I forget what it was. But there was a riot going on, and Sync was in one of the areas the National Guard had closed off. We decided it wasn't a problem because it would be easy to dodge the roadblocks, cops, and guard, so we went. Because of the riot, we carried Ruger Mini-14s, which, beyond concealable handguns, was our weapon of choice at that time. The Sync neighborhood was populated mostly by Haitians. We talked about how they might react to seeing a couple of skinny civilian white boys carrying assault rifles. We concluded that they wouldn't rat us out, and we were right. So there we were, climbing those back steps to the studio, carrying those rifles like it was nothing. When the front played the Balkan Rock Club, I carried that same Mini-14 on stage and propped it up against my amp while we played. Locked and loaded. Nobody ever said shit about that. You know, that all seemed really normal back then.
Myron
and the two
Myron and the two. You do a good rat bastard.
Leo Casino. Leo Casino is the first guy to play Washington Square. The very first guy up on stage.
First I was with Myron and the two wives.
Myron and the two wives, right.
And then I think I went to I started working with New Maurice with them.
Right.
Unlistenable.
Yeah.
Myron and Two Watch was unlistenable, but you would have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay! You ready for this game? If you have virgin ears, get out. If you're curious, stick around. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1.
Myron and Two Watts, we're the guys that started Sync. It was on Biscayne Boulevard, 76th Street in Miami. And we opened that place up in late '79.
Oh man, it was so exciting.
Read
about whose album was coming out was exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, and Charlie's coming out with another album here, and Richard Shelter's doing this.
Yeah.
The Chant's coming out with that, and Larry Joe Miller's coming out with a 7-inch. And, you know, we were all excited.
80, 81 was my favorite years in the scene. 80, 81, they still had an 18-year-old drinking age.
Yeah.
As you know, the scene was 60 or 65% female.
Yeah.
We were like one of the great live bands at the time, and they were already in the studio and they were putting out singles.
I love the eat. I love the eat.
Hi, we're the Reactions. It's our first song. It's called Young Guy. It goes something like this here.
My book?
Yeah.
My favorite band
Yeah.
from back then?
Yeah.
It's the.
Me too.
It's the. You know, I mean, these guys was great songwriting, you know, great hooks, great songwriting, fun as all hell on stage, you know, Eddie O'Brien. You got Eddie O'Brien, a guy dressing up like a priest.
Yeah. That whole sound is original.
The whole sound that they had, it was kind of like, I don't know, what do you call this sound? What was this sound? The sound was...
There's no name for it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't imitate it.
A lot.
You know,
they did not give a shit. In fact, what was... They played the Agora. I think the story was they played the Agora. I think Eddie O'Brien spit on the stage. You know, it was like everyone was spitting. It was punk rock.
Yeah.
You know, but and they threw him out.
They banned him. Yeah.
Yeah, they banned him.
Iggy Pop.
It was like, hey, you know, they didn't give a shit, but they had the most balls out of everybody.
Yeah.
And then later on they did songs like, "She's pissed off because my brother wouldn't fuck her." You know? Speaking about being honest. But,
and Steve one time mentioned that Eddie O'Brien, for instance, if he had a beer at some bar, that there would be a big article, Eddie O'Brien had a beer and stuff. And
embellished, blew it up a little bit more.
Well, you know, they were really good, and they were really big, and you know, I guess if you're that big, if Eddie O'Brien has beer, it's newsworthy.
Summarized by just listening to the lyrics of communist radio. I mean, it's just too great, and watching. You know, Eddie talked from the stage to the audience, and that was a great
to be
over the
a heavy punk in 1979, and how incredibly heavy we were, you know, at that time. The heaviosity of it was just overwhelming, and don't fuck with that Polish American shit, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, this is our place, Flynn. This is what we do with it, you know?
Yeah. So let's just dig it and get it on, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we got ourselves a little song here. No. It's called Communist Radio. I walked out in the Indian Ocean. I was first, but I did not show. I got caught in emotion. Communist Radio. I got that in Johnny Nature. I got friends that I did not know. I got all kinds of bad relations. Communist Radio. Oh, the world. I got friends that are for another. She don't really want to rock and roll. I got a girlfriend in Angola. Communist Radio. If you ever want to feel that fly now, you everything I need to do. Keep on playing that social line now. Communist Radio. Oh, the world. I jumped out in the Indian Ocean. I was good, but it did not show. I got caught in emotion. Communist Radio. If you ever want to feel that fly now, you everything I need to do. Keep on playing that social line now. Communist Radio. Oh, the world.
Let's talk about Robert Mascaro a little bit. He managed you for a while, did he not?
Yeah. To me, everyone, I mean, he's the one that insisted on everyone calling him Robert, so everyone does. But,
okay, Bobby.
But yeah, he's, you know, I met him on Halloween night when I was 14 years old. I was out riding my little Stingray, and he was walking around and stuff, and so we met up. And he said, let's egg some cars. And I said, well, all right. So, you know, we went and bought some eggs, and we threw some eggs at cars, and got chased, and the whole thing. So, I've known him that long.
So he's,
you know, he basically, you know, without, I can't say it in 3 sentences, but basically, to my mind, at least for the Broward folks, and we've talked about this a little bit, right? For the Broward folks, he started the punk rock scene.
Right.
He took a bunch of 19-year-old kids,
right,
and said to them, I want you to follow my my philosophy of how to put a band together, and they did. And he created a heck of a performing unit out of 4 19-year-old kids that, you know, never ever would have done it by themselves. They'd all had an argument and split up before their third practice. He was a dominating person with those kids. It wasn't with me. I mean, I was the same age as him. He never said anything like that to me. But he dominated the kids. Now, of course, they're all adults, and we all know how the story ended. But he made 19-year-old kids into a viable band that could have really done something.
Critical Mass, what year did they get signed? When did you guys get signed?
We got signed in '79.
Okay. And were you signed before the Cichlids or after the Cichlids? You don't know? Okay.
Who's the Cichlids?
Oh.
Speaking of the Cichlids, this was the album. The Bob's so named because most of the guys in the band were named Bob. The Happiness Boys.
Okay.
The Chant.
Okay.
Wowie. This was a F. You are an EP. Sleep of Reason.
Okay.
The Spanish Dogs again. The Spinout. And The Land That Time Forgot. With the Preachers. The Rap. Used People. Ex-cons, Do Dead People Tan. Critical Mass, this was the MCA album. Psycho Daisies. The first Rubber Thongs.
Okay.
Sheer Smegma.
Front was one of those bands that I worked with at the studio, and I also did sound for them live, and they were one of the most successful bands locally as far as draw. They were tight. They had great, songs, lyrics. Again, a very well-read, musical knowledge band, and they just, they're just they just had a great management. They just had like one of the first professional type bands I worked with.
Very cool. Just try and mimic them, or
I don't think anybody really tried to mimic us. I think we were probably too weird for any of them to want to mimic us.
Actually, some of them I was scared of. Like Steve, the bass player, I could say right now, honestly, I was scared to shit at him. And I steered clear of him because he seemed like a scary guy.
It's a hell of a world. That's the way it is. 1, 2, 3.
We were a bunch of 20-something guys playing in a rock band in Miami in the early 80s. So there were a lot of drugs around. Marijuana, coke, quaaludes, hallucinogens, etc. And society as a whole was a lot more accepting and a lot less repressive with regard to personal freedom than now. So there was rampant and excessive drug use in the band. Perhaps rampant, but generally not excessive. For example, to my recollection, Randy was primarily a Marlboro and Budweiser man and didn't mess too much with other recreational drugs. That's right. The rest of us, to a limited extent, took advantage of these exciting and wonderful times. In Greg's case, he took fuller advantage than the rest of them.
They're gonna give you a number, gonna shave off your head. They're gonna give you a feeling and they'll send you a bed. They're gonna take on your shoes and cut you down in your chest. That's the funny thing, he's another double bad. It's a picture by the state. And it's a picture. You better not be ready. I'm gonna fly.
Recorded the Immigration Report and their first single, and probably, you know, most of their stuff was recorded at Sync, and then they went on and re-recorded stuff at Criteria, you know, because Criteria they were just so impressed with the band that they gave them, and we did some TV shows too.
Yeah.
First, I would like to concentrate on one member, and he's standing to my left. His name is Flynn Picardal. And Flynn, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us tonight. And I thought I would start by, let's categorize the music. Over the week, we've heard new wave, but I've just received a simple statement that says you specialize in dance-oriented modern rock music.
Okay, well, we like to think of it as modern, aggressive rock. We like to think that the music is aimed both at the mind and the body and not targeted strictly for the gonadal region.
I noticed high energy up here, a lot of energy.
Yeah, we think it's pretty high energy.
That's part of it?
Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get yourself a girl. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get the hell out of here. No! Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get yourself a girl. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get the hell out of here. The bombs are falling everywhere, and I don't care. I got plenty of water, I got plenty of air. I got you, and you got me. What we'll have together is a whole lot of radioactivity. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get yourself a girl. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get the hell out of here. Although the war was short, it had a share of thrill. He liberalized my apartment and it neutralized my feel. But I still love you. I know you still love me. What we share together is a frontline scene for World War III. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get yourself a girl. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get the hell out of here. The war was good, well at least we won. You know it's not so bad when you win someone out on the outside. You can hear them scream and moan. I don't recommend going on alone. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get yourself a girl. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold. Get the hell out of here. Buy guns, buy food, buy gold, buy.
You know, it's funny because a lot of the responses I got from record companies were that they're kind of ahead of their time.
You know, that was one thing about the front, is they were different, and their music, a lot of their songs and music were a little ahead of the time. And you know, I remember a comment, I forgot from which label, I think it was A&M Records, you know, about a song called The Dead Ed Sullivan Show. And the title speaks for itself. Very clever song, great song. And but her comment was that it's a little bit too clever.
Trouble always follows you around, and it's making my life so tough. Away, I smash my car after drinking at the bar all night. Then Saturday you ran away with that drummer that you met. Then Sunday afternoon you were back real soon, asking me to forgive you, that's right. But then you died in the middle of my living room, and you did it in the middle of the night. Yes, you died in the
that the Screamin' Sneakers didn't make it because you didn't want to sell out. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Because they are, you know, they, like you were telling me, do you want to reiterate a little bit because it was noisy?
Yeah. But
they,
see, then it wouldn't have been the Screamin' Sneakers, you know.
Yeah.
It was the Screamin' Sneakers because it was our music and the way we played it and that lineup.
Right.
You know, because... faces on the album, you know, but
they want you
other
and
people's songs and don't play them like this and play, you know.
I have a lot of respect for you because a lot of people would have gone for that. You know, did you think that could happen again down here? Or would you want it to?
Yeah. You mean like in a good way?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that would be great. Even the worst bands,
yeah,
I think back then were better than some of the bands now.
Well,
rising tide, back up to the one that grew too high. Perfect weather for a homicide. Feelings of but never many died. In the violent days, the violent ways of our lives. These are violent days within our lives. Crime committed against your dog, your wife. Crime committed every single day. Criminal people teaching violent ways. But I don't seem to need it every single day. Criminal people teaching violent ways. But I don't see tomorrow. I can barely see today. I can't predict tomorrow. But I know it will be violent anyway.
Look how cute the little puppy. What a cute little puppy. Aww. He is such a cute little puppy.
I'm sick to the parade, sick to the pride. He goes to my head. Why can he gay? Why can he gay?
just came out of the Rolling Pins.
Right.
You know? So to me, it was like the drummer of the Cichlids joined the Rolling Pins, guitar player, bass player, and I thought it was a great idea. And the Bobs put out a couple of great EPs, really great songs, and the Bobs, after they kind of broke up, but then they kind of moved to New York, and 6 months later became the Silos.
Okay.
met Johnny, of course, in the reactions.
Okay.
First saw him play guitar because the Heat had finished the set one night in Dania.
Right.
And John sat down with Eddie on the drums and Michael on the bass, and John sat down and played blues guitar for about 15 minutes and never repeated himself.
Right.
And I listened to him and I was absolutely in awe because it wasn't just blues guitar, it was a beautiful blues guitar. He became, like, you know, again, it was sort of like one of my heroes, period. I mean, it was like playing in a band with Harvey Mandel or Roy Buchanan, somebody that good.
time. So when I finally settled here in '82,
Right.
I don't recall how we hooked up, but I ended up playing with him for about 3-4 years.
Very talented guy, played rockabilly. He was doing it before the Stray Cats and before the trendy bands. Larry has a long history in South Florida. He's not from here, he's from Topeka originally.
Yeah.
But he came down here with his band, the Thingies, in 1967.
Right.
Doing straight rockabilly, I mean, it was so finely detailed. It was down to the minute. People said we were better than the Stray Cats. We were more refined than the Stray Cats.
Well, come on, everybody get snapping. Don't fight it, just let it happen. When the beat comes through, there ain't nothing you can do. Move your feet, your hands start clapping. Well, the roof caved in, baby, that's all right. We're gonna shake it, gonna break it, gonna rock it tonight. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. Well, the roof caved in, baby, that's all right. We're gonna shake it, gonna break it, gonna rock it tonight. We're gonna boogie on Nash potato. We're gonna side to a mean alligator. Well, here's one clue what we're gonna do. Yeah, boogie on my place later. Well, the roof caved in, baby, that's all right. We're gonna shake it, gonna break it, gonna rock tonight. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock. Well, the roof caved in, baby, that's all right. We're gonna shake it, gonna break it, gonna rock tonight.
One such pearl that really stood out for me was the band ZCars. Although I didn't know the band members personally, I was a big fan of theirs. I remember the lead singer was Peter Patrick, bass player was Ray Harris, guitar player Chris Bacon, and the drummer was Bruno. I used to go out and see them on a fairly regular basis at Rollo's, my favorite rock dive on South Dixie Highway. They were primarily a cover band who snuck in the occasional original song, but they were always energetic. The music was fairly tight, and the band always rocked. They rarely sounded tired or used up, and that's difficult when you're performing the same covers night after night. So I always liked ZCars.
Mind
Like I lived places, like I lived up in Boston where there were all these like supportive radio stations that would play local bands and stuff. They didn't have that down here then. You know, they had She, maybe for yeah, they had VUM, one station, which, you know, that
Turn off your radio! Radio in this town wasn't that free. From restraints, so, you know, had its own programming system. They couldn't bust out. From years later, I got to know Neal Mirsky a little bit. And basically he feels like he was doing as much free radio as he could do. And when I put myself in his spot, maybe I guess he's right.
The people who own these stations realize, wow, we could really make some money with this thing, you know. And radio, it's not a cheap thing to run a radio station, and the money comes from advertising revenue. The more listeners you have, the more you can charge for your commercials, and the easier it is to sell those commercials. And so stations were now becoming formatted. They were starting to research the audience. They were starting to figure out what are the songs that the most people like. And I mean with auditorium tests, focus groups, researching music the same way that Procter & Gamble would research a new dish detergent. We didn't own these stations. We were hired by people and paid to do a job, which was to build an audience and to do it with rock music. And they hired us because our knowledge of the music, and we were all hippies anyway, we weren't cheap. And it became formatted, and WSAG had been a little mom and pop FM radio station in Davie, Florida, that was owned by the Milner family and run by their son Tommy Judge, who was a legend. And it was all about the music. And then in 1980, the Milner family sold it to a company, TK Communications.
So it changed hands right as that scene was emerging.
Right as the scene was emerging, right before the Cichlids album was about to come out, and just before Critical Mass's album, you know, the Tight Squeeze Club, I think, had just closed. You know, to give you the chronology of the time. Of course, I was like, in fact, I even brought with me I mean, I was just the most hated man in South Florida by these people. And I mean, these wanted posters started popping up.
Hold on. Wow, that's cool.
For the murder of rock and roll radio in South Florida. I mean, I was like, it was...
That is so cool. Wait a minute. Let's make sure we're rolling. Okay, that's...
Or a little underground newspaper that was published called the Borrington Journal. I think this was the one and only issue that they had. But their lead article in the issue was "Radio Boredom is Their Life After Myrsky."
Turn off your radio. Turn it off now. Turn off your radio now.
There was two things: a conflict of interest of the radio stations playing that song, you know, or our record, and then the people who didn't use him, they used other companies for consulting on and said, well, we're not going to put money in his pocket. So it was a double-edged sword that wored against us in that regard. You know, we sold out of our first pressing. You know, I mean, they sold out; they just didn't make any more. And there was a big change of hands at MCA. And plus, the record sucked. Dude, the only thing I shred is cheese, and that's it. You know?
The Coins. Did you ever work with the Coins? I think so. Well, there was a band that 1980, I came across called the Cookies, and they were probably the most talented band of all the bands in that era.
Right.
I took some very distant trips in some very good company. I'd see the black marks up and down all the pages of my history.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. Well, I couldn't believe it. No, I couldn't believe it. Girl I wanted another girl. The girl I wanted another girl. The girl I wanted another girl. The girl I wanted another girl.
Cats on Holiday was another very bar-like, I want to say bluesy, but very rock, god-like band.
Yeah.
They had great guitar players. The whole band was really, really talented. I like Cats on Holiday. They recorded a lot of stuff with Cats on Holiday, but they were really great live. They played Flynn's a lot.
Yeah, we.
I'm doing an interview with Greg. What funny? We'll have sex later. Shut up. Go ahead. What?
Said, come on, baby. Shake this shack upon. Said, come on, baby. Shake it like a hurricane. I want to see the joint jump and see you swinging in the aisle. A lot of jumping going on, hey, doing no wrong. Shake this shack, baby. Shake it like a hurricane. Said, come on, baby. Shake this shack apart. Yeah, come on, baby. Shake it like a hurricane. Well, for me to send two little wings, I move in such a chain. A lot of jumping going on.
Futurisk. Okay. They had a few 45s. This was Jeremy Kay's band. He did synthesizer, and they had a Devo-esque type of thing going on. Devo.
tight shot of Futurisk. I want to grab a nice tight close-up of this here. This is this your latest album?
Play a Piano EP, yes. It's 5 songs. It's a mini album.
Right. Okay.
You can get it in all the
Then we have another one over here, which is is this your newest album?
No, this is the first one.
This is the first album. And this, I presume, is available?
I mean, now that's a 45. That's, actually, that's no longer available.
But the first one that we just showed was.
Right.
Well, you have a very outstanding sound. Who writes your material?
Well,
do you all do, basically, Rich?
Yeah, we all... Jeremy writes most of it, but we do all contribute to it.
In the arrangements, usually I come up with a basic idea, and then they help me with the arrangements. So Jack comes up with a drum part, which we take. Well, we don't want to give away our songwriting secrets or anything, but sometimes the electronics play a part in writing too, which is some of our message is there.
Well, a couple of years...
Well, she comes down like a meteorite, a flash of lights in her eyes. She's got a task to make love at first sight. She wears a mask, she takes it off at night. Told me to hold on tight, and she came down like a meteorite. It's propaganda, haha, but she says it's alright. She'll love you blind, she'll throw you out of her sight. She'll lick your mind, and then she'll take a bite.
Beach called Flynn's, and we moved the whole
shebang down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that went on for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And Shelter was great. He was very good on promoting and drawing bands from the West Coast and national bands to come down and play the area.
Feels dumb that you can't see me. What are you looking at? Just at my icon picture that's on the, you're not seeing an actual picture of me. You're just looking at my icon, right?
Oh, it's just a picture of you with gray hair and the blue back. You set the license, let me find it. Give me a second.
Okay. I'm gonna be turning this shit on and off, man, and see if it...
Keep playing with it while you got me. I'm gonna
smoke
him if you got it. Stutter stop type thing, you know?
Yeah, it's not
if
that...
You have a really good camera to
What's
into
this?
my old email here.
Okay. You forget you can't see me. Fuck. I can see you fine. Let me blow it up to full screen. Alright.
Look at that fractured stutter stop type thing, you know?
Yeah, it's not
if
that...
You have a really good camera to
What's
into
this?
my old email here.
Okay. The funny thing is, it's, you know, my camera is working. Fucking A, fucking A, fucking A, fucking A, fucking A. Add. Okay.
All I'm getting.
Fucking A, man. You're coming in fine. It looks good. It looks good.
I love my netbook. I love my netbook.
It looks good in the camera. You know, it's a little fuzzy, but it's not really fuzzy.
Flynn's, it wasn't really a big stage, you know, but on the end of the stage was this big area, like it's like a dip.
Yeah.
Where you kind of went down to the bar level, like a 5-foot drop, and then into the back room.
All right.
Well, I did a spin with my guitar, and I spun right off the stage, slammed down to the ground, and the whole band like looked and didn't see anything. They heard the whole guitar go bang. They didn't realize what happened. They kept playing.
Right.
And I hit both my arms, and both my arms went numb.
All right.
I was trying to play the guitar, I was kind of alert, and people were screaming and laughing and stuff, and I was trying to keep playing the guitar, and somehow I got back up on stage, but my arms were asleep.
Right.
Because I hit so hard, and I was trying to play. It was great. It was probably my first noise experience. Yeah.
So it was like a little photograph of what was to come.
I think after that, it was like, okay, I know my real calling now.
That time in the record industry in general, again, it was right before MTV. The record industry was in the doldrums and not doing well. The records weren't selling, and it was just kind of tough times all around. And I literally sent to every single label, you know, many times over, many demos, our singles, the album. It just, you know, we had interest. They wanted to hear more material, but just never got that deal.
I would get sometimes 40, 50, 60 albums a week sent to me by record companies to listen to try and weed through all of it, and trust me, every time I put the needle, we still had turntables back then, every time I put the needle down on another new record, whether it was a band I knew or a band I'd never heard of, whether it was made by Warner Brothers in LA or whether it was, you know, made at Sync Studios in, you know, in South Florida, I always put the needle down wanting to love it. You end up getting disappointed probably over 98% of the time because most of it, a lot of it, you know, reaches new heights of mediocrity.
I think that scene, from that scene, I think it got a little bit bigger. I think after it seemed like it died down. I mean, there were places that were closing down, but then there were also places that were opening up. So there were places like Washington Square, and the Cameo was always a big place. I mean, you can go see great punk acts there, and also see, you know, Fishbone and David Byrne, and then, you know, then you had the Talk House, Stephen Talk House. So there were places, and though the music was shifting, and even the front, out of the front came the Scourge, and we began to shift along with that shift. And I think that the scene was still around, though it was slowing down, but there were other bands that were coming up. There were younger people that were buying into the old scene, and like, you know, Saigon Kick, and
They had a
and
record,
they and Nuclear Valdez, and Marilyn Manson, and the Mavericks. The Mavericks came from my band at that time in Coconut Grove. So I mean, so there were a lot of spots, and even at the Village Inn in the Grove. I mean, no, I'm talking after the fact, but even there we had original music nights, a couple nights a week. And my band, Humane Society at the time, used to host that band, and from that band spawned the Mavericks. And those nights you would have John Tobar come in with a bunch of bands that he had, and then you would have the Crew, which spawned Neil Lara. You know, so you would go there and see Nuclear Valdez, the Mavericks, the Crew, Humane Society, Apex. You see all these bands that you see all these bands, and you were like, wow, this is really cool. It's still a scene going on. And as the beach before it got all, you know, the whole regentification of the beach, and they kicked all the artists and the old people out, there were these interesting clubs where you can go and you see these bands, and you would see the Circle Jerks or Bad Brains, you know, and Washington Square, I think, was a great place because it was an even bigger venue for these bands to play. And I think a lot of it was that whole, you know, turning Miami into that whole tourist mecca capital, and they began to push these little clubs and these scenes out, and we had less places to play, and if you didn't have enough money or courage to, you know, to pile yourself up in a van and go play all, you know, eat peanut butter sandwiches and make $60 a week, you know, all over the country, I think a lot of people, a lot of bands didn't know how to do it themselves.
You know, a lot of guys have stopped playing. They had to go to work. They had families to grow up.
Right.
They just lost interest. The music business can suck the heart out of anybody.
I don't think I would trade those times for anything. You know?
I think that what was going on between 79 and 85, do you think that ever could happen again, or?
I hope not. You know, it was just, a lot of it was pathetic, musically horrible. That was then, this is now, the past versus the present. To paraphrase Sun Ra, the past is dead, and those that live in the past are doomed to be like the past.
and stuff, they were actually really helpful for the reactions, and they recorded one of our songs on their EP.
Right, yeah, okay.
I Can't Help It,
Yeah.
which was really nice, which gave us a boost, you know,
Yeah.
for certain things,
So
you know, for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
here's another band that's gonna go ahead and record something that we wrote.
Which is a nice thing to do.
It's a beautiful thing to do, you know. It's like, okay, so it inspires them to even want to keep going.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's
So-
flat. It's a
Total
it's
flattery.
It's
Yeah,
flattery.
flattery.
Meanwhile,
Sure.
they were just trying to steal your song, but.
This is a song written by Isaac Baruch. He's over there somewhere, I think. I saw his ugly face over there. Thank you. How can you just say goodbye and then turn away? Won't you tell me why it has to be this way? We're going insane, silver. Everyone just talking over. Don't you know that I just can't let go? After everything that we've been through, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. And every single word I say is true. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. We've been together for so long, is there nothing I can do? I may be right, I may be wrong, but still nothing without you. If we go and say it's over, maybe we're just talking over, but you know that I just can't let go. After everything that we've been through.
I don't know how objective I can be in describing 1980 Miami. I certainly wasn't back then. But I'll try to use some of what I've learned in hindsight and take a shot at it.